Hey guys, so these are the extra plantains that I had from when I made the pasteles on New Year's. Meanwhile, it's February. Look how nasty these things look, and they're completely soft. But that's when they are at their best. These are considered plátano maduros. Extremely sweet, gushy, not easy to work with. So there's two things you can do with it. I'm going to make, not today, but I definitely needed to get these used. But I am going to make with these pastelon or pinon or pastelon. People call it differently, so it's like a Puerto Rican lasagna. So it's with these sweet plantains layered on the bottom, the empanada meat picadillo in the middle, more plantains on top, green beans, crack an egg, bake the whole thing together. So I will do that. But another thing that you can do with these is when they're really, really mushy, you mix it with a little bit of flour and put the picadillo meat in the middle, so kind of like an alcapurria, and fry it. So those are two things you can do. But now, because they are really, really soft, I'm just gonna fry them and keep them in the refrigerator until I make the pastelon. Oh, hey, sorry. I forgot I hit play. So yeah, see, this looks nasty, but this will taste delicious when it's fried. So I'm just gonna fry them up, put them in the refrigerator for now, work on my grocery list so I can get the ingredients needed, and I will make a pastelon with this. It's been such a long time. So like I like to call it Puerto Rican lasagna. Meat, sauce, plantains, freezes well, heats up nicely with all that sauce, green beans, and eggs. Yep. So I got two more nasty looking ones to cut up. But yeah, that's when they're at their best. You don't throw them out when they look like this. This is when they're at their best. I mean, I might have over-ripened them, but they're still good. So here you want them nice and golden. Let me tell you. These are super sweet. Oh my God, they're so good. So some people, I went to a Mexican restaurant one time, and they served these. They sprinkled it with cinnamon and sugar. I was so surprised. I was like, what? It was considered a dessert, which I completely believe now. So I ordered it just to give it a try, and I couldn't believe how good they were with cinnamon and sugar. Never had them like that growing up, surrounded by plantains in my Puerto Rican childhood. Never thought of that as a dessert, but it really is a good dessert. So, yep. I still got one more waiting to go in, and then that's that second one. So I'm just going to hold on to these until I'm able to make that dish. Hey guys, tonight's dinner is going to be empanadas. Yes, empanadas. I haven't made them in a while. The boys are so excited. So I'm defrosting my sofrito because I put that in the freezer, and my empanada shells. I have some Costco meat, so I'm going to make some of it, and the rest I'm going to package up and freeze. So I'm starting my meat early, and then actually, yeah, I'm starting my meat really early. And then, so when dinner comes, all I have to do is stuff the empanadas. But I had all this oil left over from the alcapurrias that I made, and, I don't fry a lot of stuff, so I hate to waste oil. So I'm actually going to fry them today, and the boys are very excited about that. But that is dinner tonight. So I'm going to brown that, chop up some onions, throw some garlic in there. That was probably about a quarter of this. So I'm going to package it up and freeze the rest of it for other dinners. There's definitely going to be a lot left over from this. So I like to serve it with white rice and vegetable. And there's another dish that I want to do with it because I have some plantains, sweet plantains in my freezer. So I'm going to make another dish with that another night. So let me get this going, chop some onions, throw some garlic in there, a little bit of salt, tomato sauce, and that'll be dinner. So I put some garlic in there. That's the minced garlic from Costco. Look at them at the bottom of the jar. See, look at all that water. I like fresh better. But you know what? This did great anyway. And I chopped up, look at this onion. This thing is like larger than a softball. This thing is massive. I chopped up like a tenth of it. So that's going to go in. Somehow, I'll fix that. That's gonna go in. That's the rest of the onions. Get this going. I have it on a low flame. Should have gotten the bigger pot. But this will be fine. So that's going. Got some onions in there. I'm going to put some of my adobo, the powdered adobo. I had gotten this from, you know, one of those bulk purchases at Urban Market. Ooh, smells good already. Okay, so that's cooking down. Maybe a little more. Yeah, love this stuff. Great on vegetables, great on chicken, great on fish, great on pork, and great on beef. So, that's cooking. I chiseled out some sofrito, so I'm going to add that when that's pretty much cooked, and I'm going to add the tomato sauce. Okay. So that's cooked somewhat. I'm just going to break up the big chunks. I'm going to add my sofrito. And sofrito is green peppers, onions, garlic, and a lot of cilantro. Let me see if I can get this in here with one hand. A little bit. So I'll move that around. There you go. I'll get some more in there. And that's going to cook in there. And then I'm going to add some tomato sauce. And that's your picadillo, very basic picadillo. You can add green olives if you want. We're not olive fans, so I don't do that. But you can. Let me see if I need a second can of tomato sauce. I might. But my empanadas, I don't want a lot of sauce in the meat because then it just leaks out. And, of course, when you're frying that, that'll get all poppy. Yeah, I don't need another can. All right. So I'm going to just work that in there. Going to let it simmer. Taste to see if I need any salt in it. And then it's ready. But since I'm starting it so early, I'm just going to end up turning it off and then heating it up later on when I'm ready to stuff it, I guess. Don't need to heat it up that much because you're going to be throwing them in the fryer. But I'm just going to heat it just to loosen everything up. But I think that's it. There you go. I'm going to cover. And let it simmer. Put it on the lowest setting. And just let it simmer for a little bit. Because like I said, it's really early. And I don't need it cooking all day. So I'm just going to let it simmer for a little bit, maybe 30 minutes, and then I'm going to shut it off. So now it's almost 5:30 p.m. I'm going to get my oil heated up. About there. These are the shells I use. There's also Goya, but I use these because these are actually bigger. I noticed Goya made theirs smaller now. And I tasted my meat. My meat doesn't need any salt. And I'm not even going to heat it up. So I'm just going to fill in the shells just like that. So I'm going to separate these. Let me use 2 hands. So I laid out all the discs and I put some meat in there. And then the goal is to fold it over. You could put some water on the rim so it can stick better. And I get a fork and I start, sealing it. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. And then it's sealed. Sometimes if it doesn't seal one way, you flip it over and kind of fork the other side and it actually finally adheres. So I'm going to do that for all of these and then that package as well. So there's 10 per pack. And then I am going to fry it. So that looks like that's pretty hot. And I only did the first pack, but being that they're all not going to be able to go in there, so while it's frying, I'll continue on this pack. But let's get one in. There you go. Ooh! You know what? And they do taste better fried. And then John's doing salad over there to go with it. And that's dinner tonight. And there it is, so plated up. They get nice salad and dressing. Fit in that's that dinner tonight. That pot. Here are the others waiting. So now I have this extra meat, which, like I said, I want to make another dish with my sweet plantains. So I'm just going to put that in the refrigerator. I have a lid for it. Let me get it. Here it is. So I'm just going to put it in the refrigerator as is, and then for when I need to make that other dish. And there it is, plated up, salad and some dressing, and that's dinner tonight. Guys, so tonight for dinner I am making a piñón or pastelon, which is pretty much Puerto Rican lasagna. Not sure what it translates into. So that empanada meat, the picadillo that I made for the empanadas the other day, this was the leftover, and this time I added another can of tomato sauce because I like it saucy. Because you're going to put it in the oven, it could dry up, It could come out really dry. So I like it extra saucy. I'm going to set my oven to 400. Okay. Here are my plátano maduros, so the sweet plantains that I fried up a while ago, and I stuck them in the refrigerator. And then with the green beans, you need some green beans. I'm actually using a peeler to make them thin. My mom always made them with the French style green beans that would be in the Del Monte can. But these are fresh green beans, so I tend to like them on the thin side when it comes to this dish and not a fat green bean. So even though it's a lot of work, not so bad with the peeler, but I'm actually peeling and making these nice and thin. And then I'm going to throw them in the micro steamer. There are a couple of chunks here I can easily cut with a knife. So I'm doing that right now. But that's pretty much what it is. It's green beans, it's sweet plantains and picadillo, and you layer them. And then you actually beat an egg and pour it in to bind it all together. So that's dinner tonight. So here are the green beans, nice and thin. I'm putting them in the micro steamer. I'm making this piñón in my loaf pan. I don't need a big one because it's just me and John that eat this. So this loaf pan is perfect for small sizes because Yeah, it's just me and Jonathan are gonna eat it. So I'm gonna micro steam this to get them soft, maybe like a minute and a half. Since they're thin, they'll cook pretty quickly. And just like lasagna, everything's gonna be cooked and pretty much heated, so you're just kind of heating it up even more. So it's not gonna take that long. So I put it in for a minute and a half, so that is perfect. So let's assemble. I heated up the plantains, so that's one layer. And it's not as many layers as lasagna, it's usually just 2 layers. And then I'm going to throw all this meat in there. And I like it saucy. I remember one time, I think it was my dad made it, and he did not put a lot of sauce in it, and it was just so dry. I mean, the flavor was there, but it's definitely better when it's a little saucy. Ooh. Oh, I think I got some on my shirt. Definitely my arm. All right. I think that's good enough. There's not much left. I'm going to pour the rest of this in there. Yeah, the boys love this meat. Okay. Now we're going to put the rest of these on. Oh, I hope I have enough. Some are cut long-wise, some short-wise, some are a little darker than others, but they're all good. All right, so let me finish putting that layer on. Look at that. I haven't made one of these since New York, and who knows how long ago that was, because I've been here in Tennessee for 6 years. You know what? Maybe I did make one here. I don't know. Anyway, I beated 3 eggs. And there's my green beans. I'm going to put a little salt on the green beans. A little salt in the eggs. And then that's the next layer. I don't know why they have the green beans, but they do. And it's a nice little addition. So I'm just going to put the green beans on top. And like I said, I like them thin. But you use whatever green beans you have, however thickness you like it. But my mom always used a Del Monte French cut style green beans. Or I've also gotten them from frozen, and then you have to thaw them under hot water or let them thaw naturally. And, you know, and they're usually blanched. So then you pour the egg on top. Ooh. Okay. And we're gonna.
You said this was.
Oh, I made a mess. All right. Well, you get the idea. I could use some more egg here. I'll figure it out. There. Look at that. So I scooped it off my counter with a spoon, and I evenly distributed. So now this is going to go in the oven. Everything is pretty much cooked. So basically you're waiting for the eggs to get cooked. And when they're cooked, it should be nice and hot throughout. And there's your opinion. Look at that. That is saucy. Now I have an aunt that would put like mozzarella cheese, or I think Monterey Jack. She'll put a little bit of cheese and melt that on top. But the egg is cooked. It's boiling. It's nice and saucy. And then I heated up some arroz con gandules, yellow rice with pigeon peas, and some white rice. And that's dinner tonight. Okay, so I started eating. I forgot to film what it looked like plated, but that's it. It's not, especially when it's really saucy, it's not easy to scoop out and look pretty like a lasagna slice. But let me tell you, it's delicious.
It's good.
It's good.
Bueno.